Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Let's just hope everybody's healthy, and let's stay here on the defending Super Bowl champs. The Chiefs kick things off by giving Chris Jones a new 5-year deal, and they got Patrick Mahomes a couple of new wideouts this offseason, signing Marquise Brown and trading up the draft speedster Xavier Worthy out of Texas in the first round. KC did lose some key pieces on defense, trading away corner L'Jarius Sneed to the Titans. Their quest for a three-peat starts on Thursday night in the opener in Week 1. Patrick Mahomes and company will face Lamar Jackson's Ravens in an AFC Championship rematch, the first season opener ever between players with multiple MVPs. You know that's got to just burn inside for number 8, that he's got to be in that environment as they celebrate what could have been when they hosted the AFC title game. The good news for KC, they'll be at Arrowhead again in Week 2, and then they're coming off a mini bye. The bad news is, so will Joe Burrow be ready to go, coming off a difficult 2023 season. So the Chiefs start out with 2 really tough tests, and we'll have a Super Bowl rematch in Week 7 when the Chiefs travel to Levi Stadium in Santa Clara to face the Niners. San Francisco had a 10-0 lead last February before Mahomes forced overtime and earned his 3rd Super Bowl ring. Dan, what do you make of the Chiefs, especially the difficult start out the gate?
Well, not only a difficult start, Kev, but they could be playing without Rashee Rice. And then you're trying to expect it to be Schefter, yes. And then you're trying to break in your first-round draft pick, Xavier Worthy. So you're playing against a great defense in Baltimore, a dynamic offense in Cincinnati without probably your number 1B receiver. Atlanta's going to be better. The Chargers division. So you go into your bye, you could be sitting there going, okay, the Chiefs are 2-3 and everyone's in panic mode and whatnot. So that bye actually comes at a really good time for them, because after that, you're looking at on the road against San Francisco, on the road against the Raiders. You got to get Tampa Bay, and then those last 2, Week 11 and Week 12, on the road. That's a tough start for the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what this Chiefs offense looks like out the gate. Dan, you alluded to it with Rashee Rice, who was their number 1 wide receiver, potentially being out. Does that mean that Xavier Worthy is asked to do more than he would otherwise? What does his route tree look like? Do they find ways to get him the ball in the backfield? Do they lean, as they have so often, into 12, 13 personnel? And then the other thing, there's this assumption with Worthy and Hollywood Brown, Mahomes is going to be throwing the ball downfield more. I think that's true. But to do so, he needs pass protection. Who's starting at left tackle for the Chiefs? Do they bring back Donovan Smith? I think that's going to be a massive storyline at the beginning of the season and will really determine what we see from this offense.
Wait, so there are wide receiver questions in Kansas City. There are offensive line questions. You start the season with 2 AFC North foes that are really difficult in Baltimore and Cincinnati, and then you go on the road for back-to-back games. Now, you have the best player on the planet, and that helps things out. But that is a challenging start to a season for a team that's attempting to three-peat. That's a challenging start. Am I wrong?
It's a challenging start. You got to admit that.
I do not care. I said it when the season ended, and I'm gonna stay with it as long as we go. All of those teams that we talking about, the Chiefs got to face. They saying to themselves, we got to face the Chiefs.
Okay,
bro.
I agree with you, Marcus. But look if we're talking about the start, right, and leave this schedule up without Rashee Rice, and maybe look at that last month as well, fella. 3 out of the 4 on the road.
Yeah.
You're at Cleveland, you're at Pittsburgh, and you're at Denver, and you can say whatever you want. You play them tough. And the home game is Houston.
Bro, you got to play the games, all right? But I'm not going to act like
final month, dude.
That this team hasn't unlocked something that all of these teams we talking about haven't. Like, when you think about Kansas City, just watching them from last year, bro, that was the worst I think we're going to see them play offense. Regardless of ushering in new wide receivers. I believe that is the worst we will see Patrick Mahomes and the offense perform throughout a large majority of the season. They were historically bad at dropping passes and won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Okay? So regardless
but won the Super Bowl because of the defense.
That's fine. They re-signed the dude that I think makes everything go.
I agree.
Up front in 95. But here's the thing, to y'all point, and I'll lean heavily towards where y'all going. More so than the first 4 games of the season, Week 1. Week 1, to me, is a barometer for the Baltimore Ravens. Because like I said before, somebody is going to have to step to the forefront. Obviously, we know that Cincinnati can be really good. Joe Burrow health, it's got to be a question now. It's got to be a question if he's going to be available. But that week 1 game with Baltimore, to me, is going to tell us a lot about where Kansas City is compared to where they were last year at the beginning of the season. Because I'm telling you, once they get hot, we watched it for 3 years.
Yeah, of course.
Once they get hot, they hot. I don't care who they play.
I will always say, if you give Andy Reid time, he has the entire offseason to get ready for the Ravens. The Ravens have a new defensive coordinator, right?
Yep.
And then they have a mini bye before they face the Bengals. The one thing that stands out, though, these 2 early games could be tiebreakers at the end of the season, right?
Yep.
That plays a huge role here.
Well, we had that conversation about Pat going on the road.
Yeah, well, he shut the door on that.
That's a tough final month.
It's a tough month. It's
Coming
a tough
off
month.
of the
It's a tough
unknown
open, it's a tough close.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, let's continue our social media trek here. Because of the Super Bowl for all these social media teams, and the Chiefs, they crushed their opponents last season. So they're going to be crushing their opponents this upcoming season by revealing this way.
That looked like Marcus putting pants on.
Obey. The Obey seasoning, you're wasting that?
Obey's terrible.
Come on, Dan.
Obey seasoning is terrible.
He does not speak for the entire cast here on set. And then you see the Georgia Peaches right there against the Falcons. Well done here.
Goodness.
Okay, looking forward to seeing what they do with the Broncos because they face them twice here as we get to the Broncos schedule in a moment. Schefty,